75 employees from Lexmark International was fired the last week because 700 employees stopped working the last week, every day, Monday through Friday. So the employees that was fired require at the Junta de Conciliación in Mexico to make a union to defend the purpose or the rights of these workers in Mexico, and the Junta de Conciliación to answer them at January 2nd, the next year. But the Junta de Conciliación put the list of these workers, you know, under the known of Lexmark managers, and they will fire the last week. So they don't have money anymore, and they retain the annual bonus that is known in Mexico like aguinaldo, and they don't pay the aguinaldo, so they don't have enough money in order to live. So we are trying to make an association in order to defend the rights of these workers, because the corruption of the government in Mexico is very difficult to destroy. So we are fighting to make the difference, because the people in Juarez don't have enough money to live. They work too much, 9 hours and a half on these factories, American factories and Oriental factories in Juarez, and they don't have any possibility to have a good life. You know, so they live with $40 per week, and that is not enough. They don't have any social assistance in Juarez, so it's very difficult to understand why Lexmark obtained $3.7 billion in utilities the last year, and they don't want to pay 6 more pesos per day at the employers, you know. So this is the beginning of the fight, because we extend this fight for all people who is working in the maquila in Ciudad Juarez. We have terrible conditions. People don't have enough money to support their families. $40, it's $40. You cannot buy food, you cannot buy nothing. Not dignity, not nothing with $40 per week. So we began our fight the last month. It's the first time that we are in the United States trying to tell the United States and the whole world that globalization, it's a mistake. We want to be more humanist. We want to think in the people. We need to think in the poor people in the world, and we need to make the difference in the world. People of the maquila cannot live with $40 per week. The Constitution in Mexico says then your salary must be enough to have a house, food, education, you know, and $40 per week. It's $40 per week in the United States and $40 per week in Mexico. It's not enough to live. We want to have more dignity and progress. We want to progress like the owners of Lexmark in Mexico. We want the same situation for the owners of this company like it's for the employees of them. That is our fight, and we know the United States and all people in the world knows this situation.
There are a lot of factories in Juarez. How important is it that every single factory worker is given what in America we're arguing about as a living wage?
Well, in Mexico we have a commission that say every year the amount of the minimum salary wage, you know. So it's very difficult to understand why the government in Mexico increased the salaries to less than 3 pesos for the next year. And when the factories try to defend the position of them, they say, I'm paid that the law says, So I'm not a criminal. I'm paying that the government of Mexico says, yeah, you are paying that. But it's not fair. That is the reason of this fight. It's not fair. You can pay more because the law says what is the minimum that you must pay. But you can pay more. And you can buy a special place to care the child of the employees that you have most of the time in your factory, 14 hours per day. Because they travel for 2 hours in order to go to these maquilas, and they in 2 more hours to return to the house. So in total, most of the time the employees in maquila works 14 days. 14 hours, I'm sorry, 14 hours per day. So they don't have any possibility to have any relationship with their sons, with a marriage. Most of the people who is working in the maquila are single mothers, you know, for this situation. So we have many problems in Juarez. Our employees are so poor, and we want to stop this one. We want to, it's not a fight, but we need to make a consensus with the factories in order to say you are paying the minimum, but you can pay more. And if 100 pesos per day is not the minimum and you pay more, you can pay more and more, because you can pay 300 pesos per day and sustain your utilities. And maybe you can have a very happy employees and have a better factories in Juarez.
Has Lexmark responded?
Nothing. Lexmark, nothing, did not respond, nothing to the workers. They fired the workers in order to try to stop the other employees in the factory to make the union with the other employees that are fighting for it.
Is there ability in Mexico for factory employees to unionize like workers can do in the United States?
No, we don't have anyone in the maquila and Juarez. They know that there is a proof, there is an evidence. There is an evidence that the factories that are established in Juarez, you know, are working bad, for the bad way. Because if you defend the human rights, if you defend the rights of your employees, you don't have any problem to have a union in your factories. So think about that.
The Guardian article kind of mentions that there's a lot of unrest in Juarez with factory workers. Are there similar strikes and similar movements happening in other factories that you have heard of?
Yeah, I represent 3. Foxconn, Eaton Busman, and Lexmark. And there are 3 because I don't have enough space in the day in order to represent another people who is fighting for the same situation, increase the salaries, you know. But it's many people that cannot, the whole people cannot live with these salaries. And maybe we will start this fight and it will be permanent in order to have better results in the future, and try to involve the companies then can see how your employees are living in Mexico. That's ridiculous. Try to, come on. You are in Kentucky, okay, come on to Juarez. Visit us. Go with your employees. Invite your employees, they invite you in order to go to the homes and see physically how they live. You are so young, and it's your responsibility to fight for these people that don't have too much options with the corruption with the government in Mexico.